Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and yesterday, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 finally launched its brand new Siege mode, and I absolutely love it. If you're a lapsed player like myself, who hasn't jumped into the game in quite some time, now is the perfect opportunity to do so, and have a ton to do. Not only that, the variety feels really good. Also, if you're a player who's never played Space Marine 2 before, it is a great chance to jump into the game for the first time, especially if you can find it somewhere on sale. But what is Siege mode and why is it helping the game so much, in my personal opinion? Siege mode is a horde mode with round-based combat where you can fight a series of enemies, whether they are Tyranids, whether they are the Chaos Forces, and it rotates between the two every 5 rounds, so you won't feel stagnant. Sometimes in the operations it feels like you're fighting so many of the same type of enemies, where this adjusts things quite a bit. Every round you're going to just fight off a horde of enemies, and then at the end you can purchase some various upgrades, whether they are health kits or soldiers you can get. You can also get fellow Astartes forces, other Space Marines, so you can have multiple of them on the field at the same time, on top of you and your 2 allies, whether they are other players or they could be AI as well. Then you can also summon the Dreadnought, and this is one of the most fun things to do, in my opinion. It's not super strong because it only lasts for 3 minutes, so you definitely have to time it right, and there's probably a better upgrade path. But there was a time where I was fighting waves of enemies, 2 giant bosses as well, while my Dreadnought is on the field. My allies are fighting. I see my little minion soldiers running around. It was so much fun. It was so chaotic, and it just felt like exactly what I want for a horde mode in a Warhammer 40k game. So for that reason, I was absolutely love it, and that's what kind of sealed things for me. Essentially, when you play through the horde mode, the 5th round will have a boss fight, whether it is one boss, maybe multiple bosses. While you're doing the other rounds, you will have various objectives as well to complete, but those will provide you with additional rewards for those upgrades. And then after the 5 rounds, you'll take an elevator, go to a new location, fight some different enemies, and rinse and repeat. Every 5 rounds, there are increasingly better rewards as well, so it does benefit you to stick around if the team is having success. Not only that, but there is normal and hard mode, so if you're taking on the hardest challenges, you're going to get the best rewards. And it does feel like, as somebody who is jumping back in the game for the first time in like several months, you can take it easy on normal mode a little bit. It still feels challenging, especially if you're using new classes that you haven't upgraded before, or you're using weapons that you haven't fully upgraded, maybe new weapons that you haven't played with yet. And that's what I was doing, and I'm finding a lot of success, having a lot of fun, still having that level of challenge. But if I use my best gear, then I can go into the hard mode and essentially use that to upgrade my gear over there as well. I think it's a nice balance so far, and it does provide the variety that had been lacking in Space Marine 2, in my opinion. If you're a new player, you will have the campaign, which I think is pretty solid, not overly long, but long enough to really find enjoyment with it and really have an interesting arc. Then you have the operations, which provide a counterpoint to the campaign, while also allowing you to play that on various difficulties for better rewards as well. There's also new operations that have been released for free post-launch, which I think is awesome as well. And then you have the PvP Eternal War mode, and that allows you to really mix it up if you want to change things that you're doing up from time to time. I think that is where, again, the game was just lacking a little bit. After you complete the campaign, you're just cycling between operations and PvP. If you don't play one or the other, then it felt like there wasn't a whole lot to do. And after completing some of the new operations, I just didn't want to grind them over and over and over again to upgrade the gear for all my classes and weapons that I have in the game right now. Whereas now, you can do an operation, then you can do horde mode. You could mix in PvP too if you want to, but it does feel like there's just more there, and the Siege mode cuts out a lot of the kind of fluff of the operations as well, where you're constantly doing objectives and marching towards an ultimate goal. You've got cutscenes and everything like that in the operations. The Siege mode is strictly just combat after combat, upgrading your abilities, your various perks and stuff like that. And once you do that, you can get better grenades and all that kind of good stuff. You can get ammo boxes, you can get med kits, and again, you can summon all those various allies to help support you. It does feel like it is a great opportunity to have a more straightforward mode that is relatively no nonsense. There is obviously some objectives to complete and stuff like that, but you can simply just be fighting the entire time, except for the small gaps in between rounds. And I feel like it's a fantastic way to change things up. And if that's what you're looking to do, if you just want to jump in, level your gear, and constantly be fighting hordes of enemies in Space Marine 2, that is going to be the best way to do so. So I do feel like that variety lends itself to the game being in a much better state for somebody like me personally who does like the variety. And I do think that looking ahead towards Space Marine 3, that I feel like this is something that I hope is available closer to launch. It did feel like there was a long time to get to this place. Obviously, all these updates were free, so it's hard to complain about them. But I feel like I would have hung around with the game a lot longer if there was an additional mode on top of what we had initially. And I understand it's a lot of work. I don't blame them. They didn't know the success they were going to have after so long from release of Space Marine 1 to Space Marine 2. You don't know what the reception is going to be, so it is difficult to pour as many resources as you might like. But now that we know this game and franchise is going to be successful, it's time, I think, to add this into the game either at launch or shortly thereafter, and then maybe work on an additional type of mode as well. And I think the variety will keep people around and won't necessarily require the game to be live service with seasons or anything like that to still keep a player base around excited and happy. And that's one thing that I think is hard to do with games that don't have consistent ongoing content, whereas they just have like content drop all at one time and then nothing for a month or a couple months, whatever the case may be. And that's really where I stand on Space Marine 2. But for now, I'm just happy and excited that we do have the Siege mode finally. It's something I've been waiting for a very long time. Since they announced it close to launch, I feel like I've been really excited about this, and it has lived up to my personal expectations. But I want to hear from you guys, and I want you to tell me how you feel about Siege mode so far. Are you as excited about it? Is it as enjoyable? If you've upgraded everything in the game already, it might not have the same appeal, and that's one of the downsides I would imagine, although there are new rewards as well to get. But I feel like that might be not as fun unless you just enjoy using all your most powerful stuff. It's a better place, in my opinion, to test some of your builds as well. And so if that is the case, I feel like that would be a good opportunity to mix and match. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video as always. Comment, subscribe. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.